Hi, my name is Dinesh Kapoor and I've started this channel primarily to assist you in understanding the intricacies of history. Often in my travels in India and abroad, I have experienced that the guides we hire are either not adequately compensated, maybe do not have time, motivation or knowledge, so that they are unable to give you a three-dimensional or a multi-perspective view of the event at hand or the monument at hand. In this series of lecture, I wish to tell the tales, the real tales, based on facts, documented history and not fiction, in a very simple and lucid manner, so as to make a layman on the road understand as well as a scholar in the university. The idea is to give you authentic history based on facts and not on fiction and without sensationalizing it. The subject today is Kohinoor, the diamond. As you know, Kohinoor was one of the most precious diamonds in its times. It is very strange that we are using an adjective as a noun. Kohinoor is an exclamation. It's not a name. In 1739, Nadir Shah came from Iran, as usual, looted, plundered. He and his followers indulged in rapes, murders, massacres. And finally, Muhammad Shah called it a truce. He invited Nadir Shah, offered him all the wealth that the 5 rich Mughal generations had accumulated. And when they sat in the fort together in front of each other, Nadir Shah got the wind that he wanted that precious diamond. He had heard about it, Kohinoor, and he got the wind that Muhammad Shah had hidden it in his turban. Nadir Shah was also wearing one. Now there is a tradition that if you become brothers, the brothers exchange the turbans, and he took advantage of this particular ploy. And as cunningly as Muhammad Shah had hidden the precious diamond in his turban, he equally cunningly asked Muhammad Shah to exchange the turbans. So the turbans were exchanged. Muhammad Shah could not say no to the custom, to the ritual, and diamond came to Nadir Shah. Nadir Shah immediately unfolded his turban, found that diamond, and the first exclamation that left his lips was Kohinoor, which is equivalent to saying, "Oh my God," or "awesome," and then awesome becomes the name. So Kohinoor means mountain of light. Ko, mountain, Noor, light. That exclamation finally became its name. That's what I said, an adjective became a noun. Until then, the diamond was not known by any other name other than that it was the diamond of Babur, or it is the Babur diamond. But now let's start from the beginning, from its origins. There are many myths about it. Since we only want to deal, I would like to give you only facts and nothing else but the facts based on documentary facts. So I'll quickly go over the myths unsubstantiated. It is said that it existed 5,000 years ago and it was known as the Shamantak Mani. It is also rumored that the diamond belonged to Lord Krishna, who got it from his father-in-law. Another source says that the diamond was retrieved from the Golconda mines in 16th century. It's a myth because the diamantiferous deposits of Kollur mines near Golconda were discovered only in the mid 16th century, while the diamond was already in existence with the sultans in the late 13th century onwards, as mentioned by Babur in Baburnama. Another probable source could be Mahanadi and Brahmani, where Sambalpur mines are located. Ptolemy, in his travelogue, wrote between 60 to 90 AD, wrote these two rivers as the diamond rivers because a lot of diamonds were discovered, were found in the river beds. But this is also not very probable, so we will not go into it. In Babarnama, Babar also mentions its origins, a few origins. Since it is written by Babar himself on hearsay, there was no documentary evidence before Babar, so it is like unsubstantiated, but it is mentioned in Babarnama, so I am mentioning it to you. He said that Alauddin Khilji, before he ascended the throne in 1296, a year before, he conquered Malwa, looted its treasury and brought the diamond to Delhi. There is another version which says that Alauddin Khilji, after 1 year of his taking over the rule, in 1297, he ruled from 1296 to 1316, Alauddin Khilji. So in 1297, he went and conquered Gujarat and brought the diamond. Another version states that it was acquired by Malik Kapoor, a lieutenant of Alauddin, who conquered Warangal in the south in 1308, remained there for 3 years and came back in 1311 with lots of loot, including this diamond. Then there is another version mentioned in Babarnama that when the Khilji dynasty ended in 1320, the head of the next Tughlaq dynasty, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, sent his son Ulugh Khan in 1323 to conquer, to defeat the Kakatiya king Pratap Rudra in Warangal. And when he defeated him, then he brought the diamond amongst other jewels as spoils of war. The recorded account is in Babarnama. But before we reach Babarnama, let me tell you the background about it. In 1526, Babar came to India from Kabul. He started with about 12,000 followers. And the followers were not loyal soldiers, they were mercenaries. The loyalty of any soldier depended upon how many opportunities their leader could provide them to loot, rape, plunder and amass wealth. The more opportunities, more loyal the soldiers were in numbers and in their loyalty. So when Babar came here, on the way he accumulated more soldiers. It was like, hey, where do you think you're going? Oh, to loot Delhi. Oh, okay, join me. All these people, all the invaders that came to India from outside, whether it was Muhammad Ghaznavi or Muhammad Ghori or Qutbuddin Aibak or for that matter, Sultanates, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, Lodhis, Mughals, they were basically robbers, they were mercenaries, they were invaders, they were not here to make India their house or home. It was not for the love of India that they came. The basic idea was the same. So it came to about 25,000 when Babar reached, and the battle was pitched in the fields of Panipat against more than 100,000 forces of Ibrahim Lodi, who was ruling Delhi at that time. Now Babar won the battle, and as usual, the first thing he did was asked his son Humayun to go and seize the treasury at Agra. He himself stayed back in Delhi to seize the Delhi treasury. He also, while he was in Delhi, read khutbah in a mosque in his name. But reading a khutbah in his name used to mean that the people had accepted him as their sovereign. He remained there for 3-4 days and reached Agra on the 4th of May 1526. Now there, when Humayun reached there, he had found the family of the Raja of Gwalior, the Raja's name was Vikramaditya, sheltering in the fort, in the Agra fort. The Raja had been slain along with Ibrahim Lodi in the battle at Panipat, and the family now feared their lives. They were very much afraid that they would all be slaughtered. Humayun assured them, gave them his word that no harm would come to them, and in return, in gratitude, he was offered in a box this precious diamond. This was the first time this precious diamond, which later on, as I just told you, in 1739 would be known as Kohinoor, was making its appearance. When Babur reached Agra, Humayun gave it to him. Babur, after inspecting it, gave it back to Humayun, saying that it could feed the entire world for 2.5 days. Now, Humayun had it with him. Babur died in 1530 after 4 years in Agra. He ruled from Agra, and as per his wishes was buried back home in Kabul. His son Humayun took over in 1530, ruled for 10 years, and then driven out of India by Sher Shah Suri, who brought the Mughal dynasty nearly to an end. Humayun first went to Lahore, then to Sindh, and then to Iran. There he sought refuge from the Shah Tahmasp and offered him this diamond in exchange. Irony was, he got this diamond in exchange for the safety of the family of Gwalior Raja, and now he was giving it for his own safety. Shah Tahmasp took it, inspected it, but didn't quite like it. So after some time, he gave it to Burhan Nizami of Ahmednagar. Ahmednagar was subdued by Akbar in 1600. So the diamond came back into the Mughal treasury. From Akbar, of course, it went to his sons, Jahangir, then Shah Jahan, and then Aurangzeb. When Aurangzeb died in 1707, the diamond was still with him. If you read the accounts of John Baptist Tavernier in his publication Voyages of Baptist Tavernier, you will not find any mention of this diamond, because it is said when Aurangzeb showed him the jewels, the royal jewels, that time Kohinoor was with Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan had a great liking for the diamond. He had earlier put it in the eye of the peacock of his beautiful gold throne, peacock throne, Takht-e-Taus, and from there it was now he had put it in one of the pillars facing the Taj Mahal, so that if he turned back from the Taj, he could still see the image of the Taj in the diamond, which is not quite believable. I have been there many times. I have seen that cavity where that diamond was kept, and it is highly unlikely that you would like to see the reflection, miniature reflection, probably a centimeter square reflection of the Taj. Whether it was there or not, the guides still show you by keeping a small mirror there that it reflects. It does reflect, but I don't know whether the diamond was really there or not. But in any case, it was with Shah Jahan. From Aurangzeb, when he died, there until the next 150 years, until 1857, when the British Parliament formally took over the Indian rule, there were about 20 big and small rulers in India. The most that a ruler ruled was in the reign of Muhammad Shah from 1719 to 1744. That's when Nadir Shah came during that time. Nadir Shah took so much wealth from India that even before he reached back in Iran, he sent an emissary home announcing that there will be no taxes for the next 3 years. It was natural the wealth was accumulated by 6 generations of the rich Mughals. He also took, along with other loot, the peacock throne, which was made of solid gold studded with diamonds, rubies, emeralds, pearls, etc. Sadly, he melted it and sold it. Such a shame. It is said that if all the accountants of Shah Jahan were put to count his treasures, it will take them 15 years to finish. Nadir Shah was killed by his own troops in 1747. Then it went to his general Ahmad Khan Abdali, who went back to Kandahar and started an empire which was even greater than the Ottoman Empire and was the second largest Muslim empire in the world. He even gave himself the title of Durrani, which means Pearl of Pearls. In fact, this was the man who appointed Maharaja Ranjit Singh, whom I would be referring to now, as governor of Lahore, because it was part of the Durrani Empire then. Now, Ahmad Shah died in 1772 and was succeeded by his son Taimur Shah. Taimur Shah also died in 1793, and his fifth son Zaman Shah succeeded the throne. In 1800, he was deposed by his brother Mahmud Shah. Now, this is an intriguing tale of three brothers overpowering each other, blinding some and killing some, etc. Zaman Shah had the diamond with him. Mahmud Shah blinded him, his brother, and put him in the prison. Now, somehow they say that Zaman Shah, who had the diamond, hid it in one of the prison walls and plastered it, which seems a little improbable. How could a blind man dig a hole in the wall, then plaster it? I mean, there would be prison guards also. In such a big movement, it could be easily reported to Mahmud Shah. But anyway, somehow he hid it in one of the prison walls. Mahmud Shah was also deposed by another brother of his, Shah Shuja, in 1803. Shah Shuja retrieved the diamond from the prison wall with the help of his blind brother. But somehow again, Mahmud Shah garnered troops and regained his throne in 1810, and then these two other brothers, Zaman Shah and Shah Shuja, fled to the safety of the Punjab under the refuge of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Maharaja Ranjit Singh had also heard about the diamond. He wanted the diamond. So he sent a message to Zaman Shah that he wanted this. Now Zaman Shah did not want to part with the diamond, so he sent a white topaz saying that it was a diamond, which when it was checked by the royal treasury was found out to be a fake. Maharaja Ranjit Singh was furious, livid. He cut down the food supplies of Zaman Shah for 2 days, and finally Zaman Shah gave in and invited that if Maharaja Ranjit Singh would come in person, he would hand over the diamond. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh came. Zaman Shah presented the diamond. Maharaja Ranjit Singh looked at it, watched it for some time and walked out without saying anything, not uttering a word. So now it came to Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Maharaja Ranjit Singh died in 1839. 3 successive kings followed him, and finally his minor son Dalip Singh succeeded him. 2 wars were fought during the minor king's time, but finally Punjab was annexed by the British on March 29th, 1849. Now the diamond was virtually in possession of the British. The last leg of the journey of Kohinoor diamond starts. It was the British part now. Lord Dalhousie was keenly observing the journey of Kohinoor, and he was very keen that the diamond be shifted to England forever. He had ratified the Lahore Treaty, and therefore the Kohinoor now was virtually in his possession. Dalhousie was criticized actually for not sending the diamond immediately to the Queen Victoria. And in response to that, he wrote a letter which is typical of his intention. And I'll read this letter. The motive was simply this, he wrote, that it was more for the honor of the Queen that the Kohinoor should be surrendered directly from the hands of the conquered prince, Maharaja Dalip Singh, into the hands of the sovereign. then it should be presented to her as a gift, which is always a favor. Now, this plan was carefully and very meticulously crafted by Dalhousie and his like. He gave that diamond to Dr. Login. Dr. Login, his assistant, Dr. Login gave it to Sir Henry Lawrence, and Henry Lawrence gave it to his brother John Lawrence. John Lawrence was so disinterested in the spoils of the war that he left it in his waistcoat pocket unattended, forgotten for 6 weeks. When a reminder came from England to Dalhousie to send the diamond, he in turn asked Dr. Login, who asked Lawrence about it. Lawrence was startled because he had completely forgotten about it. So from the board conference, where the conference was going on, he rushed back to his house, called his valet and asked him to find out if that particular dress that he was wearing on that day. The valet brought it, and with bated breath he put his hand in the pocket, and thankfully he found the diamond, and he heaved a big sigh of relief. Now he gave it to Dalhousie. Now the most difficult part, from Dalhousie it had to go to London in time there to be present for the great exhibition in 1851. This diamond was going to be the prize exhibit in that exhibition of 1851. The transportation was another big headache. The first leg was to transport the diamond from Lahore till Bombay, which was not Mumbai till then, because the road was full of dangers, dacoits, daylight robberies, and things used to happen there. Dalhousie put it securely in his belt, twice secured it, and the end of the belt he put it around his neck. He claimed that the diamond never left his person. Now this claim is important in the light that later on in England somebody cast an aspersion, cast a doubt whether the diamond was the real one, the genuine one, that the Maharaja Dilip Singh had not substituted it for another one. Dalhousie certified that it never left his person and that the diamond was real. Also, Maharaja Dilip Singh had been wearing the diamond on various occasions. It was in the public view. So if anything had happened to the diamond, it would be immediately noticed. So the diamond was genuine. Lord Dalhousie handed over the box to the Bombay Treasury to one Captain Commander Lockyer. Actually, even he did not know what the box was containing. There was another Lieutenant Colonel Maxon who was in charge. The two were joint in charge of that box. Now it had to wait in Bombay for 2 months because the ship had to come from England. The ship name was Her Majesty S. Medea, Medea. The ship, they had to wait for 2 months, and during those 2 months, everybody was very tense about its security. The journey, the voyage, the sea voyage by the ship was not without any mishap. There were a lot of storms, a lot of upheavals, but finally the ship Medea reached the port of Plymouth in England, where everybody disembarked except for 2 officers in whose custody this precious cargo was, and it was taken to Portsmouth. Now there they disembarked and handed over this precious diamond box to the chairman and deputy chairman of East India Company. The deputy chairman in turn delivered it to the Queen in Buckingham Palace on July the 3rd, 1850. Now, there was supposedly, the Queen was quite wary of it, in the sense she had heard about the various myths and a particular curse attached to the diamond, that whoever will hold this diamond will be in ruins, except a woman. Lord Dalhousie reassured the Queen that it is not the case, because it had come from various dynasties to the Mughal dynasties, and they all flourished, and everybody else or somebody who was carrying it died ultimately because he had to die. It was not because of the Kohinoor, and also because you are a lady, you are going to wear it, and so it will bring luck to you. So Queen Victoria was convinced, and so that was that. Now, in accordance with the original plan, Governor General Lord Dalhousie arranged for Maharaja Dilip Singh to come to England for the presentation ceremony of the diamond to the Queen. He arranged for him to take part in the exhibition. It was held in the Hyde Park in England in a crystal palace. The crystal palace was specially built for the occasion, a very huge, tall structure, very magnificent, very regal. While the exhibition was going on, the Times newspaper reported that it was the prize exhibit. It was drawing huge crowds and lot of attention, and some days no less than 200 people would be found waiting outside in line to enter and see the diamond. And yet, and I quote, "The diamond does not satisfy, either from the imperfect cutting or the difficulty of placing the lights advantageously, or the immovability of the stone itself, which should be made to revolve on its axis. Few catch any of the brilliant rays it reflects when viewed at a particular angle," unquote. The disappointment that the precious diamond was not at its best was shared by Queen and her consort Prince Albert. Now, the Prince consulted Sir David Brewster, who was considered an expert in this. Brewster examined the stone and found several small incursions into it, which according to him was caused by the expansive force of condensed gases. Professor Tennant and Reverend Michell, lecturers in mineralogy at King's College London, they too endorsed recutting, but warned that it will make the diamond lose a considerable weight, but it will enhance its brilliance. Prince Albert also sought advices from other experts, other diamond cutters, and Mr. Garrard, after consulting many such expert cutters, finally entrusted the job of recutting the diamond to Messrs. Koster of Amsterdam. The Prince gave his approval, and the company for recutting was summoned to England under the supervision of Lord Wellington. The Duke of Wellington inaugurated the cutting on July the 17th, 1852. It was a Friday. The weight at that time was 186 carats. 2 days later, the cutters found that the flaws in the diamond were not natural but were created to hold the diamond more firmly. they found particles of gold adhering to it. By cutting directly into the region of the flaws, it was revealed that the flaw was actually a natural inclusion of a yellow tinge. It took 38 days for them to finish recutting, and finally the diamond came out to be in an oval shape weighing 108.93 carats. Now the carefully crafted drama by Lord Dalhousie was in the final stage. As I said earlier, Lord Dalhousie did not want the diamond to be presented to the Queen by East India Company or as a spoil of war. Somehow he wanted it to be presented to the gift so that it could never be claimed later by Indian government. There's a lot of furor going on. There's a lot of uproar about bringing the diamond back. But as I will tell you just now, Lord Dalhousie drafted the whole drama in such a manner that the Kohinoor would be presented by Maharaja Dilip Singh to the Queen Victoria. Now, Maharaja Dilip Singh was still living in London. Queen Victoria had put the Maharaja under the guardianship of Lady Login. Remember her husband who was in charge of the diamond during Dalhousie's time in Lahore. Now she invited Maharaja to come to Buckingham Palace, apparently to pose for a portrait arranged by the palace. Imagine the big Buckingham Palace. I have been there and it's beautiful, but it's not as beautiful as our President House here. She also ensured from Lady Login that is the Maharaja upset over the cutting of the stone or parting with the stone. When she was reassured by Lady Login, she invited the Maharaja to the palace. Now Maharaja was sitting on the dais. Queen Victoria herself took the diamond, walked up to him and placed it in his hands for his inspection, and then went back and sat in the other corner of the palace on her throne. Maharaja Dilip Singh examined, then walked across the hall to the Queen, and there he said, "It will give me a great pleasure if you would accept this." Dalhousie's wish was fulfilled. There she became the proud owner and the last owner of the diamond. After that, the diamond went into the Tower of London. Once inside that tower, nothing escapes. However, on Queen Victoria wore it on certain royal occasion. It was reset in her crown by Gerards, her official jewelers. Also, then again in 1911, Queen Mary, the Queen consort of King George V, wore it in her crown during the coronation ceremony in Delhi. And then again in 1937, the Kohinoor was incorporated in a new crown made for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. She was the Queen consort of King George VI, but eventually, after using it, wearing it in the crowns on certain occasions, the diamond went back to the Tower of London. It's now in Tower of London. I've been there and I've seen it. amongst other spoils of the war, other spoils, that immense treasure that the British took away from India, like swords and other things. It is a highly secure area, and there the Kohinoor journey has now ended and it rests there. Right from its first mention in 1526, the exchange happened between the son Humayun and father Babur, which was mentioned by Babur in his Babarnama, till the Tower of London. This is the journey of Kohinoor. I have tried to explain to you in simple, plain words, and I hope you would appreciate it, understand it, and enjoy it. Now, I will take leave of you. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also press the link, and I'll be grateful if you would send me your feedback. I, Dinesh Kapoor, now take leave of you. Thank you very much.